You've probably noticed that you'd rather silently resent someone for months than tell them they hurt you once. You rehearse the conversation in your head 100 times, but the moment arrives and suddenly you're smiling and saying it's fine. It is the text you type out and backspace through until the screen is blank again. It is the apology you give for something you didn't do. You know you're doing it. You hate that you're doing it. But something in you would rather break than speak up. That instinct isn't weakness, it's protection. And it's been destroying you so quietly you didn't even notice. What you're experiencing has roots that go deeper than politeness or personality. Avoidance isn't just about disliking conflict. It's about what conflict represents to your nervous system. Somewhere along the way, your brain learned that confrontation equals danger, not just discomfort. Maybe raising your voice meant losing love. Maybe expressing anger meant being abandoned. Maybe you watched someone else get punished for speaking their truth, and you quietly decided never to risk it. So now your body treats a difficult conversation the same way it would treat a physical threat. Your heart races, your throat tightens. This is called hyperarousal, and it doesn't happen because you're fragile. It happens because at some point, staying quiet kept you safe. But that version of safety has become your cage. Here's what that safety cost you. You started believing that your feelings were the problem, not the situation. Every time you swallowed your words, you reinforced a belief that your needs are negotiable. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, but it's more insidious than that. You didn't just learn you can't change things. You learned that you shouldn't even try. And now you're not avoiding conflict, you're avoiding yourself. You've become so skilled at minimizing your own hurt that you don't even register it anymore until it's already rotted into resentment. You think you're keeping the peace, but you're actually keeping score. And the longer the tally grows, the harder it becomes to remember what you were even fighting for. The people around you aren't reading your silence as patience, they're reading it as permission. When you don't speak up, you train others to ignore your boundaries, because you've shown them those boundaries don't really exist. This creates a covert contract. You are waiting for a receipt for a sacrifice they didn't ask you to make. You are quietly demanding payment for a debt they don't know they owe. And when they inevitably fail you, you don't get angry at them. You get angry at yourself for hoping. You use their obliviousness as proof that speaking up wouldn't have mattered anyway. But that's not proof. That's just another way to stay small. But the deepest cut isn't what avoidance does to your relationships. It's what it does to your self-trust. Every time you choose silence over honesty, you send yourself a message that your voice doesn't matter. You become a stranger to your own anger. You stop knowing what you actually feel because you've spent so long policing it. And without access to your anger, you lose access to your boundaries. You lose your ability to protect yourself. Not from others, but from your own willingness to disappear. And here's the part that nobody tells you. You've gotten so good at vanishing that you've started to wonder if you were ever really solid to begin with. If maybe the reason people walk through you is because there was never anything there to walk around. Avoidance isn't about being afraid of other people. It's about being afraid that your truth isn't worth defending. But the conflict you're running from is the only bridge back to real connection. Your silence has never protected you. It's only delayed the reckoning, and the cost of that delay is that you've spent years building a life where you're present but not actually there, where people know your name but not your needs, where you're loved for who you pretend to be and unseen for who you actually are. The world won't end if you speak. In fact, it might be the only way your world finally begins. What would you have to believe about yourself to finally say what you've been holding back?